Graduates, the time for instruction has passed, and while I speak to you as a teacher and as head of school, I now also address you as an alumna to fellow alumni. I want to give you one final encouragement, rooted in what the diplomas that you hold in your hands represent. As Mr. Murphy reminded us, love for learning is at the heart of the community of learners that you now take leave of. And your diploma represents the enormous strides that each and every one of you has taken to become mature learners. With the help of the faculty and your parents, you have laid a foundation which is now yours to build upon. I know some of you are ready to go, and others would rather linger, and I can appreciate both of these sentiments. But regardless of your disposition, this is the moment that we have been working so hard for. You have been laying a foundation for the choices that are now before you, for the new beginning that you can commence today, and the many new beginnings that will follow. This foundation certainly includes the knowledge that you have acquired, which is not insubstantial. As the knowledge that you have gained grew more sophisticated, you laid another crucial layer of this foundation, which Justice Dietzen talked about, namely the habits of mind that equip you to discover and create and recognize truth, beauty, and goodness. Now, if you've ever laid an actual foundation for a patio or a shed or a house, you know that it must hold together. There must be a unity to it if the structure to be built upon it is to be sound. If the foundation we have worked to lay consisted only of knowledge and intellectual skill, it would be incomplete and unsound. Knowledge and intellectual skill certainly are important. We've spent a lot of time growing together in understanding of the world and developing habits of mind. Many of you noticed in the last weeks that as you grew in these things, something else became strikingly evident. As you came to know more, you also glimpsed how much more there is to be known. As wonder propelled you to learn, you discovered that in gaining new insight, you also arrived in a new place of wonder. As mystery gave way to explanation, and explanation uncovered deeper mystery. In the words of Jacques Maritain, you discovered, quote, truth which does not depend on us, but on what is. Truth is not a set of ready-made formulas to be passively recorded so as to have the mind closed and enclosed by them. Truth is an infinite realm, as infinite as being, whose wholeness transcends infinitely our powers of perception, end quote. So what makes the foundation that we have been laying together a firm one? How is this to be a strong foundation that does not crumble under the weight of all that remains to be known? The answer is simple, and Mr. Murphy already said it. Love is what provides sustenance when the pursuit of truth becomes difficult. Love is what energizes us to persevere in creative endeavors. Love for the world and one another and the one who created us is what will sustain us in the practice of goodness. As St. Paul says, love is the one thing that is able to bear all things, to believe all things, to hope all things, to endure all things. It is the one thing that does not fail. Love for learning is rooted in love for the world, in love for what is, in all of its concreteness and boundless expanse. It both grows from and leads to love for the goodness of a universe that reflects the goodness of our Creator. Love binds our knowledge and skill and ongoing pursuit together and makes the foundation firm. In the midst of a community that is committed to persevering in the pursuit of truth, the creation of beauty, and the practice of goodness, you have laid this foundation. You have persevered. You have completed a task that requires courage and determination. My final encouragement to you is to continue to persevere in the pursuit of truth, the practice of goodness, and the creation of beauty. Do not let this vision grow dull. And if it does, and you find yourself wandering and unsure of where to turn, return to it. The pursuit of truth is not a disembodied, abstract idea. It is an active response to the situations we find ourselves in, a response that seeks to discern how to act in wisdom. The creation of beauty is not a smooth marketing gimmick. It is a response to an urgent need. It lies before you to create beauty that brings healing to situations broken by sin and suffering. The practice of goodness is not something to despair over or disregard because we do it imperfectly. It is what we were made for. To practice goodness is to reflect the goodness and wisdom of the one whose image we bear. So do not let this vision grow meaningless because of the gift of its familiarity. Rather, take courage. Jacques Maritain goes on to say that this conquest of being, this progressive attainment of new truths, or the progressive realization of ever-growing and ever-renewed significance of truths already attained, opens and enlarges our mind and life, and situates them in freedom and autonomy. And speaking of will and love, rather than knowledge, no one is freer or more independent than the one who gives himself for a cause or a real being worthy of the gift. End quote. It is now for you to go and to nurture the love for learning that has allowed you to lay the foundation that we celebrate today. Discern how you are called to practice goodness, create beauty, and pursue truth. And in doing so, you will discover the gift that you are to make. Congratulations, and God go with you.